Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our training session this evening. Going to give a few moments for people to jump in, for people to come on board. If you are already here with us, go ahead and hit the share button. Go ahead and share this with your community, share this with your friends. We want to make sure that we have the opportunity to spread the wealth, spread the training that we have going on today. Let me just go ahead and make sure we are good to go. Someone give me a shout out down in the chat area. Let me know where you are tuning in from. And if you're catching this on the replay, we don't want you to get a pass either. You can let us know that you are here on the replay, but also be sure to share where you are tuning in from as well. So I am just going to make a few shares before we get started and giving people a few minutes to jump on. Let me know down in the comments where you are catching us from, catching this training from. And I'm so excited to be coming to you and sharing this content. Man, we are just a few days away from July 1st, which is the start of the second half of 2020. And I don't know about you guys, but the first half of 2020 has been a doozy. And so as we move into the second half, there may be some things that you want to focus on, areas that you want to work on, and there is still time. There is still time to achieve our big goals that we have for 2020. And so let me just make a few more shares, and we're going to jump right into it. I see we have Jocelyn here from Bermuda. Hello there. We have Karen from Queens, New York. Hello, hello, hello. We have Ann from Central Coast, California. Kevin, another West Coaster, Cali in the house. Hey, Joe, greetings from Philly. So glad that you are with us this evening. I am super excited to be sharing with you some insights, some content, some tools, some strategies that we can move and we can use to conquer and achieve our big goals in 2020. How many of you, when this year started out, you had some big goals? How many of you kicked off this year wanting to achieve some big things? Hey, Cassandra, welcome. Hey, Nicole from Atlanta, the ATL, from my neck of the woods. So glad you are here with us. So we are going to jump right into what I want to share with you this evening. I am super excited because I believe that this content, what I'm going to be talking about, is so absolutely relevant right now. Just so absolutely relevant. And so I'm looking forward to sharing with you. I'm looking forward to your feedback. I'm looking forward to engaging with you. I'm looking forward to being a part of your journey as we set out to conquer the rest of 2020, as we get ready to move forward with our goals. And so let me make sure I got my chat up. Want to make sure I can see you guys. I'm telling you, man, technology is great, right? You just got to make sure it's all working. So let me just make sure all of my technology All right, all right. And so kind of working a couple of computers here, but I want to make sure that I am talking to the right people. That I want to make sure that I know that what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is relevant, it's practical, and it's an opportunity to help you see what's possible for you as you move into these next 6 months of the year. And so let me ask you this. Are you a purpose-driven goal getter with audacious aspirations and a big thirst to implement what it takes to advance in your career, your business, and your personal goals? Are you purpose-driven? Are you a goal getter? Do you have audacious aspirations? Let me know if that is you down in the chat area. Give me a PD for purpose-driven. Give me a GG for goal getter. Give me an AA for audacious aspirations. Hey, Kelvin, I see you're here with us. Let me know which category you fall into, because I know that if you're part of this radical community, then this description more than likely described you. And you know what? If you are all three, just give me a number 3 down in the comments. Just, yep, I'm purpose driven, I'm a goal getter, and I got audacious aspirations. Yes, Kendra is purpose driven. Shauna says yes to all 3. Joe is like, oh yes, absolutely. And I know that even those of us with the biggest of goals, with the biggest intentions, sometimes we can get sidetracked. Sometimes we can get off course. Sometimes we can fall into a little bit of procrastination, right? Keisha says all 3. Deborah says all 3. Renata says AA. And Nika, all 3. And so I know that we've got some goal getters. I know that we've got some people with some big vision, big missions. But now I want to ask if you identify with any of these. 2020 has decided that we could have just about every type of disruption that is possible with the pandemic, social unrest, advocacy happening. There are so many things that have come at us: quarantine, homeschooling, shifting in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, maybe you've shifted to working from home. How many of you look at the first half of 2020 and go, you know what? You tried it. Anybody feel like 2020 is like, I am going to try you? And so, yes, absolutely. If you felt like 2020 is trying you, yeah, you audacious, yeah, you purpose driven, but it is testing you. It is testing you. Yes, Shawana says absolutely. And so maybe while you are a goal getter, while you are purpose driven, maybe this is you also. So maybe you started off the year, you had big goals and you had a plan, but then you had to pivot, you had to shift, you had to adjust, you had to regroup, you had to realign. And maybe when it comes to your goal and your vision, your mission, your purpose, maybe you just haven't quite gotten back on track. If that's you, if you started strong, but things got a little hazy in the process, let me know down in the comments. Give me a 2020 down in the in the comments. Yes, Phyllis says, what a testy test it was. And it still is, right? But the good news is, while we are 6 months in, we got 6 months to go, right? That is the good news. That is the good news. And so if that's you, give me a 2020. Yes, Keisha says that's her. You started out strong and then things fizzled out. Jewel raised her hand as well. Or maybe you know what you want to accomplish. You know exactly what your future looks like. You know exactly what you need to make it happen. But you become a little bit of an information junkie. You've become someone who you've just taken all of the master classes and you've been reading all of the books and you've been tuning in to all of the lives and the podcasts. And man, if anybody asks you, how are you going to get that done? You can tell them because you've been gathering all the information. You've been gathering all the data. So you're real clear because you've become an information junkie. However, you've been struggling a little bit to implement. You want to read that one more book. You want to listen to that one more podcast. You want to take that one more class. And you have just, man, if you could only get going with what you know, it'd be amazing. But you kind of got hung up in the information junkie stage. Now, if that describes you, give me a junkie down in the comments. Just put the word junkie. We know what it means. We'll know what it means. And also, welcome Denise, welcome Dee, welcome Kim. Make sure you hit that share button. Let other people know that we are talking about conquering your goals in 2020. Conquering your goals in 2020. So make sure you hit that share and let everybody know that we are live inside of our virtual training. Yes, Ann said this is me to a T. Or maybe this is you. Maybe you've had some setbacks and some challenges that put you further back from your purpose. Maybe, you know what? You weren't an information junkie. Man, you stepped out there, you took action, you put in the work, and boom. Man, that thing didn't work out. That thing didn't work out at all. And your confidence is shaken. And you know you need to bounce back. You know you need to try again. You know you need to go back and hit it hard. But man, last time you put yourself out there, didn't quite go as planned. And so now you're looking for a little bit more confidence, a little bit more assuredness before you put yourself back out there again. If that is you, give me a confidence down in the chat area. Yes, Cassandra's a junkie. Joe is a junkie. Anna's a junkie. Hi, Tahara. Thanks for being here with us. If you are someone who, you just need to regroup and get your confidence back because you've been out there, you've tried, you've worked on it, and it just hasn't quite gone the way you want. Give me a confidence down in the chat. Now, maybe I haven't hit your situation at all. Maybe you need to get off the hamster wheel. Maybe you're doing things, but man, you busy, and then you get tired and then you jump off. Whoo! Man, that hamster wheel, whoo! I'm tired. And you've been busy trying to make progress, but you haven't seen the results. You haven't quite seen the manifestation of all that busy work. And so then you feel like, okay, I just need to get out there and do more busy work. So you get back on the hamster wheel. And you busy, man, you working, you hustling, you grinding. Man, can't nobody tell you nothing. You part of the no sleep team. right? And man, you're working. And then you're like, whew, tired. And you jump off and you're like, man, I'm just not making the progress. And so you start and you stop and you think you're doing the right things. You think you're in action. You think you're busy doing all the things that you need to do to get results, but you're just tired. You're just tired. Like, it's not that you don't work hard. It's not that you're not committed. It's not that you're not in it. It's just that, man, it just seemed like I've been doing all this and the needle isn't moving. So if that's you, give me a wheel. Just say the wheel, man. I am on that wheel. Yes, Erica talks about confidence. Kevin mentions confidence. Bree, confidence. And if you're on the hamster wheel and you are exhausted, right? Put wheel down in the chat area and let all of us know, you know what? I am complete with this wheel. I am complete with doing all the things I think are going to get me the results. And all I end up with is tired legs. So give me a wheel down in the shout out. Yes, Renata says on the wheel. Or maybe is this you? You know exactly the thing you need to do to get where you want to go. But you also know that thing that's not in your comfort zone. You know that thing, ooh, that's a risk. That's a risk. What if that, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna put myself out there like that. You know, you can see it. You can see exactly how to get to that goal, how to reach that target. Man, it's so crystal clear to you, but that thing is way outside your comfort zone. Oh, you want me to network? Oh, Oh, you want me to make sales calls? Oh, Oh, you want me to go talk to my CEO and ask for more money and ask for more responsibility? Oh, you want me to set boundaries around that relationship? Who? That's a risk. I don't know if I'm ready to do that. Oh, you want me to do videos as entrepreneurs? Oh, you want me to go live? You want me to put out content? Well, what if somebody got something to say? You clear on what you need to do, but you know, man, that's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I don't know if I want to take that risk. If that's you, give me a risk down in the comments. Go ahead and call yourself out. Here's one thing I know about our radical community. We all friends. We all family here. This is a no judgment zone. This is where you come to get your answer. This is where you come to get your breakthrough. This is where you come to move beyond where you've taken yourself so far. And so the first thing we're going to do is just lay it all on the table. So if this is you, you know you need to step out of your comfort zone. You know you need to take more risk. Go ahead and give me a risk down in the chat area. Yes, Joycelyn says risk. Yes, Kim says risk. Shauna, to some degree, needs to take a risk. Or maybe this is you. You know what? You had some goals. You know, you've been on a hamster wheel. Maybe you need to come out of your comfort zone. But the truth is, it's just all about good old-fashioned fear. What if I fail? What if I succeed? What if people judge me? What if people have something to say? What if I lose? What if it doesn't work out? And you have some fears and you have some limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are simply stories that we've somehow adapted as truth that has stopped us from doing the very thing we need to do to get where we want to go. And so maybe you have some fears, maybe you have some limiting beliefs, and Every time you go to do that thing, every time you go to take that step, every time you go to make that phone call, every time you go to make that deal, every time you go to apply for that job, every time you go to turn in that application for your master's degree, your doctorate degree, your bachelor's degree, every time you go to do that thing, ooh, you pull back. Every time you go to start that business, you pull back. Every time you go to have that difficult conversation, oh, you pull back. So if that's you, just go ahead and put fear. Fear. Good old fashioned, always hanging around, always trying to stir up trouble, always trying to hold you back. Good old fashioned fear. So if that's you, go ahead and put that down in the chat area as well. Fear. Yes, yes. Kim, fear keeps her in her comfort zone. And fear. Karen, need to take more risk and have less fear. Sylvia, yes, fear. And so regardless of which area you resonated with, I got some good news. Because my promise to you during this session is that I'm going to share 5 strategies to help you conquer these areas we've just talked about so that you can achieve your goals in 2020. We've got to be willing to conquer. And we've got to be willing to learn how to do that. Anybody tired of the memes and the quotes? Don't be fearless. See, she thought she could and she did. We got, like, you hear all these quotes and you're going, okay, yeah, but how? How do I do that? How is that done? Because when you're dealing with fear, when you're dealing with procrastination, when you're dealing with not taking a risk, when you're dealing with your comfort zone, it don't take a rocket scientist once you identify it to know you got to do something different to get over it. But the question is, how? Anybody looking for the how? Because I want to probably believe that what you've just identified is not new for you. It's not new for you. It's not a new, you're not going, oh my gosh, I'm in fear. Oh my gosh, I'm on a hamster wheel. 90% of you have probably known this before you got here. And so now the question is, but how? And that's what we're going to talk about. And so I know that some of you have been a part of Team Radical. You've been riding with me for a minute. You are part of either our inner circle or you're part of our mastermind. You may have come to some of our events, conferences, retreats. You may be a part of our online community. But then there are some of you, maybe this is your first time ever attending a training with me. If this is your first time coming to a radical success training, give me a shout out down in the comments. Just put the word virgin, right? Just let me know this is your first time. And if you are catching this on the replay, I would love to know, is this your first time joining us for a training session? Just go ahead and put a virgin down in the comments section, hashtag replay. And so I just want to share a little bit about who I am and what I do really quickly. And then we're going to jump into these 5 strategies to help you conquer and achieve your goals in 2020. And so I am Doreen Rainey, the Radical Success Coach, and I love helping people win. I believe that each and every one of us has what it takes to win. And what is the win? The win is that thing that you want that have not been achieved because of all of the things we just talked about: fear, procrastination, the hamster wheel. And so my job, my passion, my purpose is to help you win. And I do that as the CEO and founder of the Radical Success Institute. I founded a coaching and training development company, and we help people define success for themselves and get the guts to go after it. Because once we get clear on what we want, then we got to get clear on the courage to go after it. And so we do that through our masterminds, we do that through our memberships, we do that through our live events, and we do that through trainings just like this. And so I believe that after tonight, after this session, you're going to have some clarity about what you want and how to have the courage to go get it. I love it. Veronda says first time, but she was at an Act Like a Success event. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so I am also a creator. I developed the Radical Success Method. It is a 7-step process that helps you define who you are, why you are, and how you can use that information to create a new reality for you. I'm also an executive. I am the former, let me put that up there, the former Senior Vice President of Steve Harvey Global, which is what Veronda was referencing. I ran a business line for him called Act Like a Success. And in the 5 years that I ran that piece of his organization, we were able to transform the lives of millions through his Jump Challenge, through his Success Institute, and through the work that we did on his television show, on his radio show. And the coaching that I do inside of my institute is the coaching I did to his community. And so my radical method, my entrepreneurship coaching, he trusted my methodologies, my protocol, my experience, my coaching expertise. He trusted that to his audience. And so it was an incredible opportunity. I loved every minute of it. And I am also ultimately known as the Radical Success Coach, which means I wake up potential. I move the needle. I help you get closer to your dreams. I challenge you. I teach you. Some of my clients, some people in the community may say I irritate and agitate, but it's all done in love. How many of you need a little tough love every now and then? Give me a little tough love every now and then. Give me a shout out down in the comments section, because I believe that there comes a time when you may need the support, the expertise, the accountability of someone outside of you to help you move to your next level. The truth is, if we were able to do it on our own, a lot of what we want, we would have done it by now. And so if you aren't where you want to be, then maybe you need to add some new tools in order to get where you ultimately want to be. And so that is a little bit about me and the work that I do. I am mission driven, I am passionate, and I live on purpose. I've spent the last 14 years working with thousands of people, showing them how to get clear about what their authentic goals are. Sometimes we aren't working diligently on our goals because you know what? We really don't want it. Maybe we wanted it last year. Maybe we wanted it 5 years ago. Maybe we wanted it as a 7-year-old, and we just haven't been able to shake it. So the first thing we want to do is make sure your goals are authentic, and then helping people get the courage and the guts to go after it. Anybody need a little bit more courage? Anybody need a little bit more guts? Anybody need a little bit more confidence? Yes, Joe knows me well. He says, I agitate with love. Yes, exactly. D says, you need some tough love. Karen says, yes, tough love helps. And I'm going to tell you, I get coaching as well. I'm in masterminds as well. And I need tough love to help me get clarity. I need tough love to help me rewrite some of the limiting beliefs. I need tough love in order to move past anything that may be holding me back. And so as a coach, I have the honor of doing that for my clients as well. Let's see, what is it that we need to explore about what's holding you back so that you can move forward? And that's what I do day in and day out. It's my joy, it's my passion, it's my purpose, and it's my business. And so as we jump into these 5 strategies to conquer your goals in 2020, I have a request of you. And that is, please don't multitask. Please don't multitask. I know we on Facebook. I know you can probably see some other posts. I know if you can click around a little bit. I know you're on your computer, you're on your phone, you can do a few other things, but gift yourself this time. There has been, man, so much happening. And we have had to deal with so many pivots and shifts, and we've had to deal with all of the things that come with what's happening in the country. And so for just a little bit of time on this day, I want you to just be. I want you to just be. Be with me, be with the community, and gift yourself the time to take in what I'm going to be sharing with you. And so I know it can be hard, but it'll be so worth it. If you have something to take some notes on, pen and paper, you have your notes open in your phone or on your computer, because I guarantee that I'm going to say something that's going to be an aha moment for you. It's going to be something that you want to remember. And trust me, you might think you're going to remember, but you'll be like, what did she say about that? And so take notes, grab some pen, grab some paper, and let's get into what we're going to be learning so that we can transform our goals and see the reality that we ultimately want to see. And then if you've got questions, guess what? We got answers. We got answers. And so if I'm sharing some things, if I'm talking about certain concepts or strategies, and you have some questions, go ahead and put them down in the chat area. I'm open to answering questions as we go through this. This is very interactive. I want to make sure that you leave here with everything you need to make the right decisions and to move forward with your goals. And so my purpose, my goal for this session is to help you process, manage, and move forward in the midst of challenges. And everybody is in the midst of a challenge. Doesn't mean it's catastrophic, but everybody is in the midst of some kind of challenge. And so what I'm sharing this evening is going to help you process, manage, and or move forward in the midst of the challenge. So many people are waiting for the challenge to pass before they process, manage, and move forward. So many people are waiting for the challenge to go away, to be resolved. That's not what people who conquer do. That's not what people who are radical do. Conquerors and radical people, they find a way to process, manage, and move forward in the midst of the challenge. In the midst of the challenge. That is the difference between those who make progress faster, those who get where they want to be faster, because they've decided that challenges, hey, show me a challenge-free life. You either in a challenge, coming out of a challenge, or probably a challenge is coming your way. And so part of my goal is to help you move in the midst of challenge. Secondly, I want to increase your confidence and your clarity to take action. I talked earlier about being an information gatherer. And what I'm clear about is that at some point, you got to move. And you got to move with confidence. You got to move with a little bit of swag, right? You got to move to let people know, oh, I got this. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm clear. So if you want to move with some confidence and with some swag, put swag down in the comment section. Like, you know what? I'm about to do some things. And I'm about to do it with confidence. Yes, and are we ever really challenge free? And then my third goal is that you're going to have a plan to move forward. You're going to put a plan into action. I am a big believer that you have to do more than be a spectator. In my world, we talk about people being coachable. right? You always, if you've ever worked with a coach, if you've ever been in a mastermind or in a coaching program, one of the things coaches will say is that you must be coachable. Well, I agree. You must be coachable. But let me tell you what being coachable means. Being coachable means that you're open to learning. You're open to having a shift in your perspective. You're open to seeing how can you do something differently than maybe the way you've done it in the past. And as a coach, do I want my clients to be coachable? Absolutely. But I want to take it one step further. I don't just want you to be coachable. I want you to be an implementer. I want you to be an implementer. And I'm going to tell you, that's a new requirement of me in these last couple of years. Why? Because I've had a lot of people be coachable. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Light bulb, ding, 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 ding. I got it. Here's my plan. Here's my strategy. This is what I'm going to do. You changed my life. Oh my gosh, I never knew. Thank you. And then you check in with them and you going, what you do with that big aha? What you do with all that coaching you got? And so I want you to be open, but I also want you to be an implementer. That's right, Astanda, be an implementer. So as we go through these 5 concepts to conquer, I want you to think about, number 1, how can I use this to move even in the midst of a challenge? Number 2, how can I use this to help build my confidence, to give me my swag? And number 3, how does this fit into my plan to actually implement what I'm learning? So let's jump into our 5 concepts. So in order to conquer, in order to create radical success, we've got to shift. You've got to shift. If you identify with any of those 6 areas, the hamster wheel, the information gatherer, the fear, if you were like, ooh, that's me, then you have to shift. You have to shift. And in order to do that, you got to know what areas do you need to shift in. And so the first strategy around conquering your goals is our first shift. And that shift is you got to understand if you're in crisis. You have to know if you are in crisis. And if you are in crisis, you need to shift. Okay, that's interesting. What's a crisis? How do I know if I'm in crisis? Because that sounds serious. Like that sounds like 911 serious. So here's a test to know whether you are in crisis. You've had these same goals for too long. That's how you know you're in crisis. That's how you know you're in crisis. For the goals that you set for 2020, how many of those goals were not new? How many of those goals were carryovers? Maybe you've had that goal, not 6 months, right? We're 6 months into 2020. Maybe you've had that goal, not 6 months. Maybe you had that goal for about a year. Maybe you've had some goals for about 3 years. Maybe you've had some goals for 5 years. Writing that book, getting that degree, getting out of debt, moving to a new state, moving to a new country, going after that promotion, dealing with some family relationships and dynamics, losing that weight, buying those properties, Like maybe you going on 10 years. Right? Valerie says, I'm in crisis. Another Valerie says, I'm in crisis. Safe space. Call yourself out. Are you in crisis mode? Are you in crisis mode? How long have you been doing that thing that you said you were going to do? How long? How long have you had that goal? How long have you been starting that nonprofit? How long have you been planning to be a philanthropist? How long have you been planning to help the homeless? How long have you been planning to pay for some college education for students or set up scholarships? How long? If it has been more than 6 months, you might be in crisis. Connie says, yes. Jacqueline, I must shift. Erica, 3 years. You in crisis mode. And when you are in crisis mode, a crisis requires an immediate decision. An immediate decision. It might be difficult, but it's important and it must be made. And we're going to talk about what do some of those crisis decisions look like. But it's time for you to make some decisions. Shawana says, does anyone have more than one crisis? Meaning, do you have more than one goal that has been holding you back? You have more than one goal that you have not achieved, that you've been having for a year, 3 years, 5 years. If that's you, let Shawana know she is not alone. And if you are in crisis mode, you have to make an immediate decision. Your house is on fire. Your dreams are on fire. Your vision is on fire. It's saying, help, help, help. Come get me. Come save me. Let's do this thing. And so you got to make some immediate decisions when you are in crisis mode. Yes, look at Christina has several. Erica, yep, me too. And when you are in crisis mode, you've reached your tipping point. Malcolm Gladwell talks about a tipping point. And he says the moment of critical mass, the threshold, the boiling point. Like, how long you gonna talk about writing that book? How long you gonna talk about losing the weight? How long you gonna talk about dealing with him or dealing with her? How long you gonna talk about looking for a new job? How long you gonna talk about starting that business? Like, how long? This is your critical mass. This is your boiling point. And it requires your immediate attention. And so if you are in crisis, let us know where you're in crisis. Is your career in crisis? Have you not been applying for promotions? Have you not been taking the trainings you know you need to take? Have you not been taking the personal or professional development? Have you not been having conversations with advocates or leaders or bosses? Have you not been sending out your resumes? Have you not gotten that career coach? Like, where are you in crisis? Are you in crisis in your business? Like, is your revenue like up, down, all around, not existing? Have you not been actively marketing? Have you not been actively selling? Have you stopped developing products? Have you stopped offering your services? What about your own personal finances? Have you been talking about getting out of debt? Have you been talking about building wealth? Have you been talking about saving? Like, where are you in crisis? Is it somewhere around your relationships, your friendships, or your health? Are you in crisis because you've just got this lack of confidence? You don't know how to set boundaries. You've been procrastinating. Are you in crisis because you've been on this thing of time management instead of time allocation? Like, are you in crisis because you don't know how to say no when you need to say no? Or are you in crisis because you're saying yes when you need to say no? And are you saying no when you need to say yes? Yes to opportunities you're too afraid to take. Yes to networking that you're too afraid to do. Like, where are you in crisis? Let us know down in the chat. Yes, Joe says, not in crisis, but I got to step up. Let us know in the chat, where does your crisis area fall? And so mind shift number 1 is that you have to recognize if you're in crisis, and you have to make a decision to do something about it. If you think that you're just a procrastinator, you're in crisis. If you think that there's always tomorrow, you are in crisis. That's mind shift number 1. Mind shift number 2 that we want to make, if we're going to conquer and achieve more in 2020, is you have to prioritize you. When do you prioritize you? Always. Not sometimes, not on occasion, always. What does it mean to prioritize you? You got to know where you fall on your list of priorities. When you look at your list of priorities, where do you fall? Let me know down in the chat. Where do you fall on your list of priorities? So many people put other people before them on their priority list. So many people put other things on the priority list before them. Where do you fall on your priority list? Sabrina, on the back burner. I want you to move yourself up to number 1. I want you to move you to number 1 on your priority list. And then I want you to begin to think about, what does it mean to make you the priority? What would that really look like? If you put you first, how would that change the dynamics in your life? If you put you first, how would that change your self-care? If you put you first, how would that change your mental health? If you put you first, how would that change the opportunities for you to go after the goals that you have for this year? How would that change? And when you put yourself first, one of the best ways to keep you there is to protect your most valued asset, your time. If you looked at your time and you slotted all of your priorities first, what would that look like? If you looked at your calendar, if you looked at your schedule and you slotted you first, what would that look like? Slotted you first to work out. Slotted you first to have downtime, friendship time. Slotted you first to work on your business. Slotted you first to work on your book. Slotted you first. Like, what would that look like? We are not leftovers. We should not treat ourselves like leftovers. And so I want you to begin to think about, what would that look like? Sabrina says it would change everything. Mental, physical, emotional. Nothing is stopping you from doing that but you. Oh, but you don't know my situation and the family and the kids and the job. Nothing is stopping you from doing that but you. And it might take some adjustments over time to make all of those areas align with you being first. But the only reason those things aren't happening is because of you. Protect your most valued asset, time. Slot yourself first. And when you do that, you position yourself to give back with clarity and boundaries. You position yourself to make yourself available to others with clarity and with boundaries. When you prioritize you, when you put your mental, your physical, your spiritual, when you put all of those things as a priority for you, you become a better mother, a better father, a better sister, a better brother, a better spouse, a better friend, a better boss, a better coworker, a better entrepreneur. Like, who wouldn't want the best version of you? How could anyone who loves and care about you have a problem with you prioritizing your mental, physical, spiritual, all of that, prioritizing that care so that you can show up as your best self? Who would have an objection to that? You have to decide what that looks like for you so that you can embrace the power of saying yes when you need to say yes and saying no when you need to say no. Yes, exactly. And we are not leftovers. So that's the second mindset shift to conquer your goals. You got to look at, have I made me and my goals the priority? Have I allocated my time first to the things that make me whole, to the things that speak to my soul, to the things that make me the better person, that makes me show up in my full, authentic, powerful self? So that's the second shift. The third mindset shift is that if you want to conquer your goals in 2020, your goals have a price. Your goals have a price. Some of you don't have what it is you say you want because you haven't been willing to pay the price. Success is paid for in advance, all the time. You cannot say, let me lose the weight and then I'm gonna work out. Nope. Success is paid for in advance. Let me get myself together to work out and eat well so the weight will come off. Goals have a price. What price have you been unwilling to pay? Have you been unwilling to get up earlier? Have you been unwilling to go to bed a little bit later? Have you been unwilling to invest in the resources or the tools that you need in order to move forward? Have you been unwilling to have difficult conversations, to carve out time to put yourself first? What have you been unwilling to do? What price have you refused to pay for your goals? You probably already know. The price you haven't been willing to pay are the excuses that you've used in order not to do what you need to do to get there. And the sad thing about this mindset shift is that if you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice for what you want financial independence? Maybe you have to sacrifice some late nights to study the real estate market. Maybe you need to sacrifice some late nights to study stocks and trading. You want financial freedom? Maybe you need to sacrifice some of the lifestyle choices you've been making in order to position yourself to invest in your business so you can make more money, to position yourself to go back to school so you can get a better job. Like, what have you not been willing to sacrifice? Because if you don't sacrifice, what you want becomes the sacrifice. You've just sacrificed that business. You've just sacrificed that book. You've just sacrificed that promotion. You've just sacrificed that next property. Like, you've sacrificed the very thing you said you want because you haven't been willing to pay the price. How many of you already know? You can already think of something you've been unwilling to do because, oh, it's too hard. Oh, it's too inconvenient. Or, oh, it's too uncomfortable. Your goals have a price. And I have been a coach for a long time. I've been in business since 2008. I had a corporate human resources career where I did personal and professional development inside of the organization. And I've also run masterminds. I've done large scale training programs, coaching programs. I worked inside of Steve's Act Like a Success platform. I ran his Success Institute. We taught entrepreneurs. We taught personal development. And let me tell you, most people won't. If it is one heartbreak that I had to reconcile as a coach, is that most people will be coachable, but they will not be implementers. And let me tell you, as a coach, that breaks our heart. It breaks our heart. Look at this. 98% of the population will stay in their comfort zone. They will stay in their comfort zone. Doesn't mean they won't go to the conference. Doesn't mean they won't show up for the masterclass. Doesn't mean they won't run Amazon ragged ordering this book and that book and that book and this book. Doesn't mean any of that. It means that they will be coachable, but they will not be implementers. And you know what? Most times when I work with groups, these numbers pan out. I can start with a group of 100, and we're going to do this thing, and we're going to be coached, and we're going to run this business. We're going to build this business. Guess what? People start falling off. People stop showing up. People start procrastinating. People start settling for less. And then they're part of that 98%. So if you want to come out of the 98%, if you want to be part of that 2%, you got to be willing to pay the price. It's going to cost you something to go for your dreams. It's going to cost you something to build your confidence. Building your confidence means you got to put yourself out there, right? That's a risk. It's going to cost you something to explore new things. If you have goals that you haven't accomplished, you need some new information. Whether it's a mindset shift to get rid of those limiting beliefs and those stories that aren't serving you, or whether it's a literal action step of this is what you need to do. It's going to cost you something to live without limits. It's going to cost you something to not worry about what people think about you. It's going to cost you something to put yourself out there and have people leave a bad comment on your page, or to call you out about something that's not even true, right? It's going to cost you something. And if you aren't willing to pay that price, you can be as coachable as you want. You can be as coachable as you want. It just will not happen for you. How many of you know you have not been willing to pay the price? You've not been willing to pay the price. And it runs the gamut, right? You know you need to stop using your credit card, but you don't want to pay the price. You know you're supposed to lay off sugar. You don't want to pay the price. You know you're supposed to make sales calls every single day. You don't want to pay the price. And so I'm going to challenge you that if you want to conquer in 2020, decide that you're going to pay the price, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how nervous, scared, or afraid you are, that you are going to pay the price. So that's mindset shift number 3. Mindset shift number 4 is that you have to know your radical journey. You have to know the exact steps you need to take to make it happen. You got to know, okay, I'm committed to pay the price. I'm committed to prioritizing myself. I'm ready. Now, what do I do? What do I do? And here's the deal. There's an old way that people used to go after their goals. And that way is not a bad way. It just is a way that may not be giving you the results you want. And here inside of the Radical Success Institute, we're committed to helping people change their goal strategy, to help people move away from what they think works, because that's kind of what people say, to what we know can work as a new way of going after your goals. So let me know down in the comments if any of this sounds familiar to you. Here's the old way of going after your goals. And you like, man, I'm going to go after these goals. Here's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do in 2020. And then you think about, okay, how am I going to go about achieving that? And you know what? We start getting a hodgepodge of stuff to make these goals our reality. Oh, I know. I'm going to make a vision board, right? So you run out, you get your poster board, you get your magazines, you get your glitter, your glue, your scissors, and man, you make this vision board. Man, I done had a vision board 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Why hasn't the vision come to pass? And then you're like, you know what? No. The vision board is great. Somebody told me I need to write my goals down. So you grab a piece of paper, you get your journal, you start writing out your goals. Okay, wait a minute. They gotta be SMART goals, right? Okay, S, specific. A, M, attainable. We just go through our SMART goals. And then we have these beautiful layouts of what our goals are and how they're SMART. And months or years later, you come across that sheet of paper where you wrote your SMART goals, and maybe you've done some stuff on it, maybe you haven't. And then somebody tells you, well, yeah, it's good to have your goals, but man, have you read the latest book? Man, this book is everything. Oh, and they make it so clear. I got goosebumps to change my life, right? So then you run it out, and you buying books, and you reading books, and you're like, what can happen here? And what can happen here? And okay, this is the strategy. And then someone tells you, No. You've been trying to do too much externally, right? Writing down goals and reading books. You need to go in. So you need to meditate. Clear your mind. You need to go in. You need to journal. You need to write. You need to, get some nice leather bound with a little string on it. And you need to journal. And then you're going inside and you're like journaling, you're meditating. And it's like, oh my gosh. But the progress isn't there. And then someone says, you need a hard date. Like you just need to set some timelines. You need to set some deadlines. You need to have your milestones in there. This is what you need to do. And how many of you have done that? You've gotten the calendar out. You've marked things on your phone in your calendar. You put it up on the wall. By this date, I'm going to have this done. And that date will come and that date will go. Anybody relate to any of this? You just trying anything and everything so that you can get what it is you say you want. And then someone tells you, oh my gosh, have you heard of so-and-so? She's amazing. Oh my gosh. He's amazing. Oh my goodness. Like the latest guru, right? All of a sudden, you're seeing all the Facebook ads for this person. Oh my gosh, I gotta follow that person. Oh my gosh, I gotta get with that person. And success is not by osmosis. So even if that person is amazing, and even if you've been coachable, if you still have fear and limiting beliefs and stories, that guru can't help you in that way. And then you're like, I got to get some accountability. I'm going to get an accountability partner. And you guys set up and you're going to call each other each day, this day, call each other every week. And you trying, and sometimes you make progress and sometimes you don't. Accountability partners can kind of be a hit or a miss. And then the next thing you know, you guys aren't even talking every week or every other week. And then you go to that workshop, you go to that conference, you go to that training, and you're like, oh my gosh, this workbook is everything. All of the exercises were amazing. And then you take that same workbook and you come home from the workshop and you put it on the shelf or you put it in a drawer and you never open it up again. And then you hear some people just say, well, just push past fear. Just push past fear. Okay, how am I going to do that? I done journaled and meditated and wrote some things down. I done created a schedule, set some timelines, but I haven't been able to push past fear. And so you've got all these things about how you're supposed to be able to reach your goals, what it's supposed to look like. And it's really ultimately just like throwing spaghetti on the wall, hoping something sticks. Maybe the journal will work. Maybe the goal setting exercise will work. Maybe the accountability calls will work. Mary says she can relate. Phyllis says, yes, yes. Marla says, been there, done that. If that's you, if you can relate, just go ahead and say, that's me, spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti on the wall, spaghetti on the wall. And so when it comes to this shift of changing your goal strategy, you have to come out of the spaghetti on the wall. And you got to get very clear about what it means and what it takes to move from an information gatherer, someone who has some goals, knows what they want to do, that is coachable, and move to action taker, which is an implementer. And those stages of success are what get you the results. And those stages of success that move you from information gatherer to action taker is laid out in these 6 steps. The first step is you got to understand what the stages of success are. I mean, what vision board, journal, like all of that stuff. What are the actual stages of success? Literally. So that I have an actual plan to follow. And now that I know these stages of success, what has kept me from executing on my goals? There is a gap between where I am and where I want to be. And that gap is specific to me. It's personal. So how do I identify my own personal gap with clarity on how to close it? You only need to do that after you understand your stages of success. And now that you know what your specific gap is, now you got to get clear on your habits. There are some habits that you have that are serving you. And you understand that once you know what your gaps are and your stages of success. And those habits we want to amplify. Then there are some habits that are not serving you. Habits that you may not even be aware that you even have. Unconscious habits, both literal and mental, the way we think, what we believe, those habits. And you can only begin to identify those when you know what your gap is. And so now you know, okay, I've got to clear this space of these habits. And now that I know the habits I need to amplify and the habits I need to manage, mitigate, break, or overcome, now I move to the next stage, which is the what and the how of what I want. I know the stages of success. I know what my gap is. I'm closing that gap by understanding my habits. Now, what do I need to do literally in order to make my goal happen? Now I'm ready for a clear, thought out, practical, personalized action plan. Now I can get in action and stay in action because I've cleared out some of the barriers that have been holding me back by understanding the stages, the gap, the habits, and the what and the how. And it's only by implementing the action plan that we get the results that we want. The book is done. The business is growing. The job is mine. The degree is there. The wealth is building. Now I can move to having impact and significance. There is a system, there's a strategy to moving from information gatherer to action taker. And you need that gap. And then the final shift I want to share with you in order to bring all of this together is that you are paying a price. You got to count the cost. When you don't do this, when you live by this, and you don't do this, you don't get the process, you don't get the system, you don't get the personalized plan that relates to your gap, your habits, your what and how, and your action plan, there's a cost. You are paying a price for your inaction. You are paying a price for your inaction. When you think about the goals that you have not achieved, when you think about where you are in crisis mode, what has that cost you? If you were supposed to start a business and you haven't, what has that cost you? I had a client the other day, one of my private coaching clients, and she actually is a coach, and she has a program that she has a price for, an investment price, and she has had fears and limiting beliefs keep her from selling that. And we calculated that for the 2 years that she sat on that, it has cost her $235,000. Your inaction has a price. What about time? How much time have you lost because you haven't done the goals that you said you had? What about just joy? Like when you're in crisis mode, it weighs heavy on you. That joy gets a little diminished. That fulfillment gets a little diminished. What experiences have you lost out on? You want to be financially free? You want to travel the world? You've been having that goal for 3 years. What if you had done it 3 years ago? How many places would you have traveled before COVID? How many vacations, how many experiences could you have had with your family and your friends if you had just done what you said you wanted to do a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? Let me know down in the chat. What has it cost you? What has your lack of action, lack of implementation, regardless of the reason, what has that cost you? You're a business owner. It has cost you some cash. If you're in corporate America, has it cost you that promotion? Has it cost you more money in your salary? Has it cost you more money in your retirement plan? Maybe you've been in crisis mode around your family. Has it cost you time with people where you could have had a better relationship? Has it cost you your own sanity because you should have set boundaries sooner? Like, what has it cost you? Erica says all of the above. Valerie says more than I care to share, but it has been a lot. We are paying a price every day. We need to decide if the price we are paying gets us closer to our goals or moves us further away. And so when we talk about conquering goals in 2020, what you need to win, number one, you got to come out of crisis mode. You got to make a decision today, regardless of the discomfort, regardless of the sacrifice. I will not be in crisis mode. I will move on the goals that I have. You need to learn to put yourself first. I am going to prioritize me by making me number one. I'm going to give my best to everything and everyone because I've put myself first. Number three, you got to change your goal strategy. You cannot do things the old way. You have to do things the radical way, your radical journey, something that is personalized just for you. And you have got to know that it's going to cost you something. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to take a risk. It is going to cost you something. Let me just put it out there. It just doesn't happen. You want a 7-figure business, 7 figures just don't happen. You want the corner office just don't happen. You want 50 doors, 100 doors in your real estate portfolio, 50 doors, 100 doors, it just don't happen. It's going to cost you something. And then you got to count the cost of what you give up every time you let fear, overwhelm, the hamster wheel, not taking a risk, your comfort zone. Every time you let that thing come between you and your goals, it's costing you something. It's costing you something. And so when you look at these 5 concepts, coming out of crisis mode, putting yourself first, changing your goal strategy, counting the cost, making the sacrifice, which one resonates with you the most? Which one stood out for you the most? Give me a shout out down in the comment section. Let me know if you're watching this on the replay, #replay. Let me know which one has stood out for you. And what I can tell you, if you make these shifts, it's enough to propel you forward. It's enough to help you conquer what you need to conquer to get your 2020 goals done. But I will also tell you that if you are tuning into this training live right now or virtually, you have now come to the place where you have 3 options. You now have 3. I have shared with you, I have poured out my heart and soul to you about what shifts, adjustments you need to make in order to conquer the goals that you have in 2020. And now I'm asking you, which one resonated with you the most? Yes, Kendra, count the cost. Kim, step out of the comfort zone. Marla, the comfort zone. Shawana, count the cost. Kevin, change the goal strategy. Yes, absolutely. And so now you have 3 options. And I want you to choose which option you're going to take. The first option you have is to do nothing but thank me, right? That's being coachable. Oh, this was great. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Virtual high five, virtual hug. Yes, so amazing. Really resonated with me. So many takeaways. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's one choice that you have. The second choice you have is to say, man, this was good. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you're going to go at it alone. You're going to trust that your fears, your overwhelm, your procrastination, you're going to trust that your hamster wheel, you're going to trust that your pivots and shifts that you need to make, your confidence, you're going to trust that somehow you're going to be able to overcome that by yourself. And what I always remind people of is that everything you've gotten, where you are right now, is a result of everything you know. Where you are right now is a result of what you know, what you think, and what you believe. And so, yes, I've given you some new things to think about, but if you cannot translate that into a shift in your beliefs, a shift in your mindset, going at it alone may put you right back in this same spot. But that's a choice. The third option you have is to let me support you. Let me walk you through your new goal strategy. Let me show you, coach you, train you, support you in helping you get all that spaghetti off the wall and be intentional about coming out of crisis mode and moving through these next 6 months with focus, with intention, with clarity, but more importantly, with the tools, the resources, and the understanding of how to move past the internal challenges that have been holding you back. And if you make that choice, man, it is game on. It is game on. So what does that choice look like? Well, I'm going to tell you that this was something that we as a company decided we were not going to do until next year. But with everything that's been happening, COVID and social unrest and all of the shifts that people are making, all the pivots that people are making, the sense of urgency that people are working with, we decided that we were going to offer this one final time in 2020. And it is our Radical Success Inner Circle. And it is an opportunity to get monthly coaching and mentoring from me and be a part of a community of goal-getters that are committed to coming off of the spaghetti on the wall and being intentional and focused about moving through their success journey to get where they want to be. And we closed membership earlier this year, but we are reopening our membership for 4 days only. We are coming up on July 1st. And July 1st is the beginning of the second half of the year. And so we want those people who are ready to go, ready to get in, ready to go hard, ready to get on that success path. We want to work with you to make sure that you get it done. And I'm going to tell you that if you don't equip yourself with new information, new tools, new strategies, then you are subject to start out strong, because motivation always gives us a good start, but then fall back off. And so our inner circle is an opportunity for us to work together every single month. And let me tell you, I love our inner circle members. Our inner circle members, man. Okay. Let me just share with you what the benefits are when you become a part of our Radical Success Inner Circle. So first off, there's a monthly training every month that I do, that I release to our members that focus on right now challenges. We talk about mindset. We talk about anchors. We talk about your habits. We talk about what it means to take action. We talk about how do you manage fear, change your thought process. How do you deal with your money stories? How do you deal with the stories of lack and the stories that we have around money? Like every single month, brand new, relevant to what's happening today, and released every single month. Secondly, every month, we have a live coaching Q&A session with me. And here's the deal. We break out into groups. So if you are an entrepreneur, listen, I've built multiple 6-figure and 7-figure businesses. I know how to build a business. I know how to market. I know how to sell. I know how to scale. I know operations, financials. So we have a call every single month just for entrepreneurs. And then we have a second call every single month to focus on your specific goals, whether it's career, financial, health, mindset, your questions. You get the coaching. And I make myself available every single month. And we have those coaching sessions, and we go as long as the questions are there. And yes, you can come to both calls. You may be an entrepreneur, but you may have some mindset things you're working on. You may be an entrepreneur, but you also want to focus on your relationships, your friendships. You can come to both coaching sessions. Next, you get access to our Radical Library. Now, for those of you who've been around the Radical community for a minute, we have incredible live events. We have our Radical Intensive. We've had our Radical Retreats. We've had Radical Conferences. You get access to all of those trainings, content, expert interviews. And let me tell you, whatever topic you're faced with, there is more than likely a training in there that can help you address it. And so you get access to our library, our archives. And then you also get access to our private members only community. Here's what I know. Community is everything. Anybody tired of going at it alone? I know that was a choice, but anybody, give me a shout out in the comments. Anybody tired of going at it alone? You're not alone. There's support, there's encouragement, there's motivation, there's inspiration, not just from me, but from all of the other go-getters in the community. And let me tell you, when you become a member of our inner circle, we kick things off by taking you through your radical journey. We move you from information gatherer to action taker, because when you come into the inner circle, you start with our 6 weeks of core modules. And every week you get each stage. No more spaghetti on the wall. No more hodgepodge of stuff. You're going to methodically walk through these 6 core stages of your radical journey. You're going to go through the stages of success. I'll walk you through exactly what those stages are. You're going to walk through closing the gap. You go through this process of understanding what your personal gap is. Then you move into habits, the what and the how, the action plan, the impact and significance. This is the core of being able to conquer your 2020 goals. And when you come into the inner circle, the first thing you do, when you join something and it says, start here. This is where you start your 6 weeks of these core modules. Now, in addition to that, that's right, in addition to the monthly training, the live Q&A sessions, the Radical Library, the community, we also have one of my favorite parts of the membership, our wrap sessions. And our wrap session is our Radical Accountability Pods. Anybody need a little accountability now that you know that you're going to go through these core modules? And I'm telling you, once a month, we get together, and this is just one screen, one little snapshot of one screen of our wrap session. And we break into accountability pods, and you get to know each other, network with each other, share information, share insights. Yes, Vicki says the inner circle is great. You should definitely join. And our wrap sessions are the chance for you to learn and grow from each other. We celebrate wins. We talk about what's working, where you are on your modules, if you're in our 6 stages. And we have the opportunity to connect. Man, community is everything. And we also connect inside of our own Radical app. Listen, anybody Facebook grouped out? I mean, you come on Facebook, it's 50 million different things. Well, no. The inner circle, we roll a different kind of way. The inner circle, we over here. We over here taking care of business. We have our own app, and you come in, and that's where you can meet other people in the inner circle, ask questions, where you can share anything you want to be reviewed. Many of our entrepreneurs may share some sales pages or some information they want to get feedback on. Many people will share their wins. They'll ask questions. They'll get insight. And so the power of community. And then inside of our inner circle, because if that wasn't enough, We have monthly expert interviews. And these expert interviews are live. And so, I kind of roll with some pretty cool people. I kind of roll with some people who are doing big things. They're power players in the corporate space and the entrepreneur space when it comes to building wealth, when it comes to getting your mental and your mind and your soul right. And I bring those people to my members. And it's live. So it's not like I'm recording an interview and then I'm sharing it. No. We're live so that you can ask the questions of my experts. You can ask the questions of my guests. So you can get exactly what you need based on your situation. And so I'm just like, we're opening it back up because we know that as we move into the next 6 months, after these first 6 months, we want to help you get there. And so when you look at all of the benefits of the inner circle, if we were to price these things out separately, right, your 6 core radical modules, the value of that is $19.97. Our monthly masterclass training that I do, the value of that is $9.97. Our monthly live coaching calls, like me live coaching you, the value of that is $19.97. Our monthly expert interview with a Q&A that's live every month with these power players and these movers and shakers, the value of that is $9.97. And then our monthly rap sessions, our community app, and our archives, man, that's just priceless. The people in our inner circle, the way they support each other, the way they show up for each other, it's priceless. And so when you look at all of this, the value is just under $6,000, $5,988. And I'm going to tell you, when you decide to invest in yourself, what's a path to achieving your 2020 goals worth to you? What is it worth to finally get the book done? What is it worth to finally get that degree, to finally get your business on track? Like, what is it worth to finally make yourself a priority, to finally have the confidence you need to go out there and walk with swag? Like, what is that worth to you? It has to be worth at least $5,988 because that investment gets you everything it is you say you want. It gives you the path to overcoming the internal challenges that you face so that you can have external results. And so who is this inner circle for? Because it ain't for everybody, but it's for the go-getters. It's for those ready and committed to change. It's for those that know there's greater available. I remember, I love a good friend of mine, and we are entrepreneurs together. We mastermind together. And one of the things we keep reminding ourselves of as we grow our business, as we add zeros and as we add commas, we keep reminding ourselves we are too good not to make this kind of money. And that should be you. You know greater is available to you. You are too good not to have that job. You are too good not to be a best-selling author. You are too good to be living in debt. Like, I know greater is available to me. That's what this is for. That's who this is for. You're ready to step up your game, even if it's uncomfortable. We talked about that. It's going to be uncomfortable. But every person that steps up their game, every person that you admire, every person that you look up to, every person you call successful, guess what? They were uncomfortable. It's the only path to win. Discomfort, you don't get a pass from that. And so you're ready to step up. You're ready to take action and do the work. And you understand the value in investing in your future. And you are tired of the spaghetti, the quick fix, read a book, do a journal, make a vision board. All of those things have value, but if they aren't anchored in our 6 core modules, you won't maximize the benefits of them. And so you place a high value on this personal transformation. And so this membership that we decided to open for 4 days only where we've already shared with you everything you get inside of the inner circle. And we've shared with you the value of what you get in the inner circle. All of the core modules, the monthly trainings, the accountability pods, our access to our community in our app. All of this, the value, just under $6,000. So what is it for you to join the Radical Success Inner Circle and get started on your core modules right now, today? I'm excited that you can get started right now for $37 a month. $37 a month. We've all been quarantined. So y'all haven't been spending your Starbucks money, right? You haven't been spending the lunch out money at work. Maybe you've been saving on the metro. But even if you haven't, this is 100% absolutely worth it. $37 a month gets you membership inside of the Radical Success Inner Circle. This offer is only available for 4 days. It expires July 2nd. Why are we doing this? Because we want to give our attention to the members. We want to know who's in, and once you're in, let's go. Once you're in, let's rock. Once you're in, let's go get it. Let's go get it. Let me support you. Let me coach you. Let me train you. Let me walk you through the steps that you need in order to conquer your 2020 goals. And we can do all of that inside of the Radical Success Inner Circle. It's easy to get started. You go to radicalsuccessinnercircle.com. You'll get all the details and you'll see become a member today. And I'm telling you, I love being a part of helping people achieve more. And that's what this inner circle does. And so I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to remember what you need to win. The 5 shifts. What is it going to take for you to come out of crisis mode? What is it going to take for you to put yourself first? What is it going to take for you to change your goal strategy? What is it going to take for you to pay the price to step out of your comfort zone? And what will it cost you if you don't? What is it going to cost you? More time? More money? Fulfillment? Joy? Experience? Let us be a part of you conquering your 2020 goals. Become a part of the Radical Success Inner Circle. It's $37 a month. You can go to radicalsuccessinnercircle.com. 4 days only. Expires July 2nd. And then, of course, I want to hear your biggest takeaways from our session tonight. Hopefully, your biggest takeaway is that you are becoming a part of the inner circle. That is the answer that you may not even have known you needed. But being able to go through 6 weeks of core modules, to understand your specific needs, your specific goals, your specific gaps, and your specific action plan makes it all worth it. To connect with other go-getters, other people on the journey that you're on, priceless. So what would this inner circle experience do for you? And so I want to encourage you to join us today. radicalsuccessinnercircle.com, just $37 a month and only available for 4 days. And so I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me this evening. I want to thank you guys for engaging, for sharing. Yes, Valerie says, count me in, joining the inner circle. Absolutely, absolutely. We can't wait to welcome all of you who are making the step to say yes to conquering your goals in 2020. I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. You can share that down in the comment section. And then if you're catching this on the replay, hashtag replay and let us know as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you inside of the inner circle. Have a great